Okay. So, in a minute I'm going to take you there. Lifter then starts in an immersive experience where you sit with the sights and the sounds first. And we've just been working with the University of Tampere in Finland, who have shown an evidence that this digital immersive experience first is crucial for bridging the empathy or connection gap between the person watching and the person they're about to meet. And by sitting first in, say, someone's front room or in their home environment before they hear the story, which is short documentaries, they will feel more connected and less anxious about meeting that person for the first time. It's some interesting research there. Actually, can we go to the site now? Thank you so much. So if we pop the sound on and pop the spinny. So I'm taken straight into the platform. There's a teacher interface that navigates this with all the lesson plans that can be searched and resources that can be searched. But I want to just tell you about a quick project we've just done with schools in 13 countries as part of working with Cognita schools, where they had a global Be Well Day. They do it every year. This year they had sustainability as their focus, but they wanted to bring sustainability and nutrition, food and well-being together. And so we created a lesson plan that all schools did. We translated it into lots of languages. That was quite hard. And we first took them to Amazonian Peru. Is it okay if we whiz now? There we are. And the key thing with Lifter is you first sit with the soundscapes. And the world, it should spin, or if you click on the spin, it will spin. And here you'll meet Flora, and you'll meet William. And Flora, a lot of people, students will remember because she cooks and eats grubs. And it's a beautiful story that really shows the complexity of the need-want dilemma. Very, very happy, very content, and talks about what well-being means in her own way. And we meet her partner, who you might see in the background, William, who gets wild bees. We then go, so could we just click on going back round? Actually, yeah, let's come back out. If we can go now to Germany, we then went to Germany. Doing an amazing job, thank you. So, down there. To the right. Yes, thank you, perfect. You didn't expect a test of your geography today. Okay, so here you will meet Malte. Malte gave up his life behind a computer in insurance to become a beekeeper and live a more sustainable life. And in this, you can start by going into the beekeepers, into the hive, and you sit with the bee sounds and things like that. We haven't got time to do that now. But this worked very well translated, and it worked across very different age ranges. We had it from early years, which was all about the sights and the sounds, to the very older groups in secondary schools who were really grappling with this issue of need and want. And it was only the older groups that then also went on to Afghanistan, where they met someone who has been a baker and is a baker and was struggling to make ends meet, but talked about food and nutrition and sustainable living in a very, very different context. Now, all teachers that we've surveyed so far involved said, we gave them 4 different options, but said 75 to 100% of their students were engaged in this learning and went on to talk and research about these topics and themes. If we go back to presentation, I'll finish off. So we often lessons start with just the sounds or just the images. Where are we going today? And the more experiences they have with different people around the world, the more perspectives they get, and the more different ways they see of living and being. And a big study we've just done with a secondary school in London looked at how this was supporting actually reinforcing and understanding the school values, because it was humanising what are normally quite abstract concepts. The volcanoes one is a great one as well. Lots of science and citizen science projects. So from my research, this humanisation of the complex in sustainable education is really important, and the connections that this builds, and building a sense of global community and meeting people whose lives are directly affected by deforestation or melting ice caps in a way that is difficult to imagine. So this, and there are challenges. I'm not doing the sales here, there are challenges, but what most exciting stuff we've been doing is working with schools to research the impact, to innovate, to create new lessons around these beautiful resources, and to help us develop as a platform as well. So that was Cognitive Day. So just to finish off then, so we supported this school by adding a little bit more to how they'd mapped the Sustainable Development Goals by putting links to some of the stories that illustrated and demonstrated them, but also demonstrated the interconnections. I think the connection, the belonging, is crucial. Feeling connected and belonging, and understanding why it is we have to recycle, why it is that these changes are happening, and whose lives are most affected and why, and what can be done not just on an individual level, at a societal and organisational level too. So the system's thinking, that's hard, it's really hard. And you all work in primary schools, it's especially hard with younger students actually. But the humanisation side of things we think will help, and all the other projects and resources I mentioned also out there. There's just so much. All I can say is good luck, because navigating all of this fantastic stuff is challenging, but I think starting with where you're at and what your students' needs are you can't go wrong. And so I'm leaving with a quote, this one that comes out from Sir David Attenborough often. Back to that, what's changed? We've got more understanding than we've ever had. But how do we bridge that gap between knowing what needs to be done and actually feeling the need to change? Any questions? Get me at lunchtime or something like that, but I think I've run out of time. Thank you very much, everyone.